Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to your channel Learn Data Science with Pranjal. It has been more than a month since the last knowledge video was uploaded and I have got multiple requests from the subscribers to please keep on posting the knowledge videos on the regular interval. So going forward, I have decided to post at least one knowledge video per week. Coming back to this knowledge video would be on sentiment analysis using one of the very powerful libraries of the Python, that is your Vader. And if this is your first visit to the channel, please click on the subscribe button so that you do not miss any other knowledge videos in the forward. So I'll try to keep this knowledge video quite short and small, and it will involve a bit amount of coding. And we will see that how powerful the Python is using the Vader library when it comes to do your sentiment analysis. So let's go to our Jupyter notebook where we'll try to do some kind of coding, and while taking the example I'll also make you understand how to interpret the output of those sentiment analysis. So I've already written a certain piece of code, and there's one expectation that people are a bit familiar with the Python coding. So I am importing my pandas, importing my numpy, matplotlib, though I may not be using matplotlib, but I've just imported it, and then I'm saying import NLTK. From nltk.sentiment.vader import sentiment intensity analyzer. So if you face an error while importing your sentiment intensity analyzer, then probably you need to run this line. You need to run this line nltk.download Vader lexicon. So lexicon is nothing but your dictionary. So a dictionary will get downloaded, and that dictionary would be used later on for doing your sentiment analysis. So if you're facing the error at line number 7, please execute the next below line, line number 8. And then you can again execute a line number 7 and you should not be facing any issue. So now what I've done, I'm creating an object of sentiment analyzer, create an object, or you can say create an instance. So sentiment analyzer I have already imported, I'm creating one instance, and then you say something like this. So send.polarity score is the function I'm using, and then I'm passing a sentence on which I want to run my score. So I've taken a little light example. This scotch was awesome and I had a heavenly feeling by taking a sip. So let's see what's the sentiment for this sentence. So by reading the sentence we can say that this seems to be a quite positive sentence, but let's see what's the output do we get. So this is the output we are getting. So this NEG stands for your negative, NEU stands for your neutral, POS stands for your positive, and compound stands for your overall score. So if we can quickly write it down. So I'll say NEG is for your negative. If the sentiment is negative, you'll get a negative score. NEU is for your neutral. And then obviously POS stands for your positive. And then we are saying compound is your overall. Compound is your overall score. So if value of compound is positive, it means your overall score or overall sentiment or at final sentiment or finally you were having in the positive. You are positive. If overall score is negative, then it means finally it was a negative sentiment. Let's take another example where we can see where I will show you that compound score can also be negative. So I have created one string, and the string is it was a horrible flight filled of turbulence. So just by reading the sentence we can say that okay, this seems to be a negative sentiment, and let's see what's the overall score we get. So overall score we get is minus. So one thing to keep in mind is that compound you can say is like a correlation. So correlation as in sense that the value would be between your -1 to +1. So +1 indicates that it's a highly positive sentiment, and -1 indicates that it's a highly negative sentiment. And then what I've done is I have taken one file, so which is a CSV file, and the name of the file is review. So imagine that you have launched a product or you have launched some website or something, and people are logging to that website and giving you some comments. So, and now you want to analyze overall whether your comments are positive or negative. So, to showcase that thing, what I have done is I have taken one file, and the name of the file is reviews. So, in this reviews file, you can see that there are two columns. One is your label column, which contains your whether your sentiment was positive and negative, and this is a review column which actually contains your actual comment. But let's say you do not have this label column. If you do not have this label column and you want to analyze overall whether the overall campaign was positive or negative, then how can you do it? One thing is that you read all the reviews, or another thing is that using your Vader library you can quickly create a column, or you can add a column to your data frame which will tell you whether each comment was positive or negative, and then at the end you can do your overall analysis whether your overall feedback was positive or negative. So let's get a bit familiar with our file. So it has 10,000 records with two columns, label and reviews. And then what I'll do is I'll say reviews dot label dot values. So there are 5,000 negative comments and there are 4,903 positive comments. So let's try to analyze this using our Vader library. And when I would be analyzing it through my Vader library, let's assume that I do not have this label column. Even if I do not have the label column, we can still do our overall analysis. Okay. So in this line, what I've said is reviews.ilog01. So this 0 means that I'm selecting the first record, and 1 indicates that I'm selecting the first column, or you can say the second column from your first record, because in Python indexing starts from 0. So basically this 0 and 1 implies that I am selecting this particular thing. And if you can read the, so stunning even for the non-giver. So this is same thing. So from the first record, select your second column. And then what we can do is we can run a polarity score over here also. So I can say polarity score, and then what I can do is I can pass this thing, and let's see what's the overall score for our first. Okay. So the overall score compound was 0.9454, negative was point this thing, and if we see the first level, we see that it was overall it was positive. So which means that when I run my polarity score on my first record, I can see that it was overall it was positive, and if I check from the original data, it also seems to be the positive. So now the same logic I would be using, but I will be using the same logic within my conditional statement between my for and if, and then I'll get the sentiment for each and every record. Let's run it in a little different way. So if I run the type function on ABC, you can see that it's a dictionary. So if I say ABC and I write compound, if I write ABC and if I write compound, then I can fetch this value. So, and if you want to fetch the negative value, then you have to say ABC and you have to write NEG. Then you can fetch your negative value. Similarly, to fetch your neutral value, what you can do is you can just pass your neutral value. So I should be getting the answer as 0.669. Let's see. Yes. So the same logic I would be using on my larger data set. So in interest of saving the time, I have already written few lines of code. So let me explain it. Let's first try to understand what my objective is. My objective is to run the sentiment analysis on each and every review of this data frame. So basically there are 10,000 reviews. So I want to review all the 10,000 comments. I want to review, or I want to get the sentiment for each 10,000 feedbacks. So first of all, what I have done is I have created three empty lists: score compound, score positive, score negative. So for I in range of 0, review shape 0. So I want to run my for loop for all the records. So that is why I am saying shape 0. So shape 0 indicates your. So over here the shape 0 will become 10,000. Score sent polarity scores, reviews I log I comma 1. So if I compare this line, with this line, then you will see this line is almost similar, but the only thing is, instead of passing the 0, I am passing the value of I. Instead of passing a hard-coded value, I am passing a dynamic value. But I will not change this value of 1. This value will remain as 1 because this 1 indicates your this review column. Indicates your review column. And then what I am doing is I am saying score compound, which we have just now discussed how to fetch your compound score. And then I am saying score positive. Similarly, you can get your positive score, and similarly you can get your negative scores. And I am appending in the three empty lists which I have already created. Then what I am doing, I am adding columns to my data frame. So now if I see this thing, you will see that reviews.shape, it has 10,000 records and 5 columns. Previously it was 10,000 records and 2 columns. Now 3 extra columns have been added. Let's quickly see the shape head function of this. So you can see that in front of each review, compound score, positive score and negative score has been added. Now if we want to check what's the overall score, then what we can say is reviews dot this thing, and I can run my mean function on this. So mean is 0.336488, which seems that my overall sentiments have been positive. And you can also check your median score. That median value is 0.6696. So which in a way gives me the feel that most of the comments or most of the things have been positive. So you can see that using your Vader library, you can quickly do the analysis of the comments of the any product launch, or even you can, if you are doing analysis of any election campaign, what are the people saying. So based upon that, you can quickly do your overall analysis that whether the campaign is going in the positive direction or in the negative direction. So the one advantage of Vader is that getting the scores is quite easy. It's quite easy. It gives you the positive, negative, and overall score as well. So this brings us to the end of this short knowledge video. Hope to see you soon in my next video. Till that time, happy learning.